rise and shine. This is Good Morning Abuja, reaching you from the Unity Station NTA Channel 5, Abuja. My name is Neka Igwe. Well, I'm always excited anytime I have to be here on the show with you. And you know that what you do first thing in the morning always matters. So, yes, you made the right decision waking up with us. Today, we'll give you the right amount of motivation, entertainment, education. And it's the weekend edition, so it's going to be nothing less of entertaining. Let's start with our motivational segment. Coach Meba Kayanabo is standing by.
Today, I'd like to talk to us about the importance of being present in any communication process. A famous leadership expert and communications expert, John Maxwell, said something. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So sometimes you want to speak to people or convey a message, but we're also about what we want to say. And so it ends up like you're just doing information dumping on the person. But it's always a two-way process. And so while you're speaking, you're present. And how do you show that you're present? You're looking at the person, or you're listening for feedback from the person. And so after you're done, you listen for what the person has to say. Because first of all, when you look at me, I feel like you see me, you hear me, and you understand me. Now, when I am speaking, the other person is actively listening, not just listening. Many times, when the world is so busy, lots of distractions, half of the time we're playing with our phones, we're physically present, but not emotionally and mentally present with people. Sometimes when we communicate, and so we miss many things by not being present. Imagine a boss comes to the office and is upset about something the staff has done, and just comes and ready to vent. But that boss had taken 1 minute to look at the person, and that the poor guy or lady already looks harassed. The person probably had a bad morning, something terrible, maybe happened, the child is sick or something, and the person is already stressed out. And if only you took time to look at that person in the face, you'd have picked it that this person not looking like his or her usual self. So what you hold on to what you want to say, and are you okay? What's happening? Or you pick up the phone to make a call, and hello, how are you? And the person you know to be bubbly, tell I'm fine. The next thing you go, are you okay? That's about being present. Whether the person is with you in the same room or being absent. The essence of any communication is to be able to pass your message and get feedback.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach Mebaka. Moving on, we'll bring our exercise canoe with the cardio exercise, something for your healthy heart. find some clarity for the day and for the weekend with our quotes on life. There you have them, the quotes for the day. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we will get into the nitty-gritty of the show this morning.
Eyes for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to your weekly guide, Light of Islam. I am Aisha Ahmed.
As Muslims, we know that in Islam, time is a very good and important commodity that we have.
Believe in the angels of God as one of the 6 articles of faith.
Farmers are made in form rows, and how the rows are made is such that the Imam stands in front and then right behind him.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Light of Islam. Keep watching Light of Islam NTA channel.
Za is for zakah, to cure our greed, when we give our money to those in need.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. Well, you do know that at the center of every communication is the right amount of effective communication, particularly when it has to do with conflict resolutions. So my next guest is going to help me x-ray this very all-important topic, communication and conflict resolution. Let's meet and greet my guest. She's a marriage counselor and also a pastor, Barrister Mrs. Elizabeth Ishola. Good morning, Mom.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. So we're going to take a look at communication and conflict resolutions. Can you help me describe the perfect scenario where effective communication has helped indeed to resolve conflicts?
Thank you very much. Now, when it comes to communication in relationships, it is the engine of that relationship. Any relationship that communication is not working, there can be intimacy and there can be growth. Now, I remember a scenario during one of my sessions with a couple that came in for post-marital counseling. They had been married for 5 years, and they were having issues. They were at the verge of separation. But somehow they said, okay, the wife said, let's go do post-counseling. And they came to me. And when they came, I discovered that their main issue was communication. People from different backgrounds, and then they had different ways of expressing themselves that was not working. There was no understanding at the end of the day. So what was this issue about? Let me be a bit specific. Now, let me call it, the other room life was really down. There was nothing about it. And the woman could not pass the message clearly. So at the end of the day, I had to give a little teaching on effective communication. And one of the skills that I remember teaching them was active listening. Active listening. Ability to be able to express your feelings and to say what you want. And now, from her own point of view, her husband was a dirty person. I mean, physically a very untidy person. And she moved out of the room because of the stench. And, you know, the way she described it, it's not something I should put out in the open. But then she couldn't pass the message. So by the time we finished talking on active listening, and ability to be able to say it exactly how you want to say it without criticizing him, without putting him down, without belittling him. She was able to pass the message across, and with time, they began to have a better relationship. In fact, at a point, they had to come, she was able to convince him to come for the counseling session. And we were able to make him understand that when your wife is talking, sometimes she wants to be heard. Because some of the things that break down communication is that one person is talking and the other person is not listening. There's no listening at all. You cannot place it that this is what this person has said. So with that, the issue will keep going worse and worse. But when they came to they put on the skill of active listening, things became better in their marriage.
Interesting indeed. Now, when someone has a different communication style and approach entirely from what is expected, how do you resolve a conflict with such a partner?
Yeah, most times people have different communication styles. Some people are aggressive, some people are passive, some people are aggressive, passive, a combination of both. What you do is to try to bring them to be able to empathize, to be able to understand what the other person is going through, understand what the other person is trying to say. In this age and time, there are things we easily get distracted. We're so busy. Social media is distracting us. Couples, they don't hear each other. One person is saying this, another person is saying that. So what you do is to help them to come to the middle, help them to come to a compromise, help them hear this other person out, hear the other person, and then try to bring them together to a compromise. And at the end of the day, things will begin to get better.
Now, yes, communication is all important, like you said, in every situation. Now, maybe as a spouse, as a partner, or maybe even as an employee, how do you handle your emotions and make sure your emotions are in check and you stay calm in a very tense situation?
Yeah, relationships sometimes it's normal for us to disagree and then agree. So when things get so bad, when there is tension, you are overwhelmed, there is abuse, insults, the tension is high. My advice or what I do to help is that you should take a deep breath. Sometimes when it's so high, you're so angry, you're so frustrated, the first thing to do is to try and take a deep breath. Come back to yourself, take a deep breath. Another way is to take a way out. Tell that person, when you are getting so angry, you should be able to say, please, I'm sorry, I can't continue with this. Just give me a little time, maybe 1 hour, and I'll come back to this. And you should save yourself, bail yourself out. And when you take out that time, go back and reflect on the issue. Try and see the other person's perspective. At the end of the day, you may be able to resolve the issue.
In your line of practice, what are the steps you take? What are the measures you undertake to ensure that you understand the different perspectives in every conflict?
Yeah. When people come for counseling, you try to hear everybody. You listen. You listen carefully and pay attention to understand what that person is saying. For instance, most conflicts are usually very little issues. Probably the errands that the other person did not run. Some little issues, and sometimes they may be serious issues like infidelity and the likes of them. So what you do is to try to listen carefully to what each of them are saying, because at the end of the day, why they are not agreeing is because they are not understanding each other. So you try to get everybody's perspective and plan how they can resolve it. And one of the methods we use is to help them to organize a peace conference. You help the couple to say, okay, we're going to have a peace conference. We're going to sit down and discuss the facts in issue. Because most times people just throw feelings and just throw anger, but they're not discussing the real issue on ground. So you try to find out what is even the real issue. Because sometimes the real issue may be something as simple as I'm feeling out of balance, and I know that you love to spend holidays with your friend, with your family, but I would like to go to Dubai for vacation. It can be as simple as that, and there's this huge conflict because you are not able to pass your message. So what we do is to help them understand some of the communication skills that can help them pass their messages clearly. And one of those skills is active listening, open dialogue, to be able to be honest with what you are trying to say. And at the end of the day, and we'll teach them, don't always use I statements. Don't always use I when you are talking to your partner. You should always, sorry, don't always use you when you are talking to your partner, because most times people criticize each other. So you will keep saying you always come late, you always do this. Once you say that to your partner, they will want to defend themselves. And once you come to that level, you will keep arguing. So always use the I statements. Talk about what you are feeling. Talk about what you want so that your partner can pay attention. And at the end of the day, your partner should also repeat what they heard you say. What did they hear you say? They should repeat it to you so you are sure that they heard you, and with that, the issues will be resolved.
Now, at what point do you know when to either to compromise or to take a very firm stand in the
Yeah, sometimes when it's going to cause you pain, when you know life is involved, when you know you are about to lose your dignity, it's time to take a firm stand. And then when you know you're going to lose something vital, sometimes it's time to compromise. For instance, if you're staying very far away, maybe your spouse, maybe the husband, moved out of a city to a farther city and probably took the children with them, and you can't move because of your job. You can't leave that place because of your job. Certain times you now need to think about it and come to a compromise because of your children. You want to nurture healthy kids together as a couple. So you need to think about it and make a decision that will be favorable to your future.
Finally, ma'am, as an advice, what can you tell us about the need to always keep our communication clear and respectful?
Very important. And apart from keeping your communication clear and respectful, you should build up communication skills, because so many people grew up without knowing how to communicate. So they keep storing things in and in and in, and it keeps causing trouble everywhere. So build communication skills, learn communication skills. We were not born with it. Learn how to say please, learn how to say thank you, learn how to be polite, learn how to be respectful. And with that, and learn to be kind with your words. Learn to be kind with your words and to be compassionate with your words. When you are like that with words, it's very hard to cause offense. So that's my advice. That
I have to thank you. I have to thank you so much for coming. It's been very insightful. Well, I'm going to take that one away. Always learn to be kind and compassionate with your words. I've been speaking with Pastor Mrs. Elizabeth Ishola, a marriage counselor. Well, I hope you learned one or two things from that very lovely conversation. Stay with us. The show is not over yet. There's a whole lot more to unfold after the break.
La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah.
With the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of us. It's another fantastic Friday evening, and you're welcome to NTA Channel 5 Abuja.
First of all, you train yourself, you educate yourself, then you educate your family, and then the community at large.
Fundamentals of Islam Live, showing 7:30 p.m. every Friday on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station. Join us.
the show this morning. I am. And we're still in the euphoria of 26 years of unbroken democracy in our great nation, Nigeria, and still x-raying all of that. I'm going to take a look at prospects for our creative economy as Nigerians, and one of the fastest rising entertaining and creative countries around the world. And to help me do that, I have with me the legendary and incredibly talented Chief Obi Asika. He is the Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. Drum rolls, good morning.
Morning. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm so honored and happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
And thanks for the intro.
Yes, you do deserve it. You are iconic.
She says so.
Now let us start by taking a look at some of the emerging trends you see shaping the creative economy.
Oh, there's so many. I mean, one of the things about Nigeria is so diverse, it's so blessed, it has so much going on that if you blink, you might miss something, right? So we just try to track stuff as much as we can. I think one of the things that we see happening clearly is the way Nigerian food is globalizing. Nigerian cuisine, swallow, it's gone way beyond jollof rice.
It's gone beyond Nigerian
It's gone way beyond jollof. Akara, egusi, all these things are coming to the fore. And they're coming to the fore in many different ways. You're seeing it in social media, but I'm also seeing it in business. There are companies that are rolling out Chapman and Zobo in the United Kingdom, in the US. And I think what is happening is our culture is mainstreaming globally. And that's a beautiful thing because that's how you begin to monetize. And as you do that, you even reverse it back into your domestic environment because we need to get product merchandisation to recreate products out of our culture. And that's really where my energy is focused on at this point in time. How do you move from influence to industry? That's because once you make that move, now you've built, we have probably 3 billion people following Nigerian soft power in terms of culture, comedy sketches, music, dance, theater, food, fashion, all these things on all platforms. But what now happens is as you build the value chains to turn that influence and attention to industry, now that is a massive economic gain for the country in terms of jobs, in terms of productivity, in terms of revenue. And the thing government is always interested in.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, how can they leverage entrepreneurship to actually turn these ideas into businesses?
Well, the thing is this. First of all, you need to know who you are as an individual. Not every single individual is an entrepreneur. Not every single individual is supposed to run a business. And not every single individual is supposed to be doing a 9-to-5. So you need to know who you are. And once you know who you are, if you're a creative person who creates creative products, and maybe you're not so strong on the business side, find business advisory who can support you. Somebody close to you that understands regulations, that understands law, that understands banking, because you're not supposed to know everything. It's not as if Hollywood was not built because the creatives knew how to do the business of financing film. That's not their skill set. Their skill set is to tell the story with the camera and the lens. So it's a combination and a collaboration that always enables people to do these things. And part of what we're doing with the government is we have a platform called the Creative Leap Acceleration Platform, which is a website, clapnigeria.ng. Any creative, you don't just have to be young. Creatives are also 60, 65, right? So you hit the platform and you can get hold of masterclasses, resources that will help you. But the thing I tell everybody is in this world, 2025, information is everywhere, right? We're rolling out something called ICE, which is Innovation, Creativity, Entrepreneurship. You just talked about entrepreneurship. And that's because what we think is that you must be business focused. Even if you're making a direct in your corner shop or you're doing Bolly on the road, somebody needs to explain to you how to turn this thing into business, right? If you're a natural entrepreneur and a natural retailer, you already know how to sell to a point. But then do you know product? Do you know marketing? Do you know all these other elements that are used to sell product? That is where we can help in terms of the resources and the knowledge, the master classes. Because for me, it's about education. Yeah, so you educate the creative to help themselves, and then they've got to be educated enough to know that they need help, that it's not a solo street. When you see global superstars or even Nigerian superstars, and everybody's talking about Burna Boy, Wizkid, it's a team. It's not the individual.
It takes a village.
It takes a lot of people, right? And it takes focus. There's a professional side, there's a culture side, there's an artistic side, but they're all there in the team to make sure the products which they're presenting, whether it be Burna Boy, whether it be jollof rice, whatever it is, that product is at the best possible level that it can be.
Interesting. The streets of Nigeria is littered with different creatives,
millions of them.
different, so having you here today, I'm inclined to talk about protecting intellectual property because a lot of exploitations can also be going on. What can you tell us?
Well, the thing is this, first of all, you're only worried about protecting intellectual property when your intellectual property is at a level where it can actually be stolen. That's the first thing. So, for example, back in the day, Alaba, Idumota, the Nigerian musicians would go to Alaba and give those guys their music themselves because they wanted to look as if they were pirated because it means you're popular. Because the thing is, if you're not going to make money on sales, at least you get money from attention, and from the attention, you might get shows and begin to get money. So IP protection, whilst it is important, isn't the key factor. The key factor is to create IP that is valuable. Then, of course, the protection comes into the mix. We have very strong laws. The Nigerian copyright law is very strong. Sometimes the issue is in implementation, right? So laws are strong. But one of the key things that is happening, which I'm happy to mention here today, and I believe the Honourable Minister will be, in the next FEC or so, the approval will come out. There's been an interministerial team working on IP for the Nigerian environment since maybe this time last year. And I was across the Ministry of Trade and Investment, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Digital Economy, and I believe led from our ministry, Arts, Culture, Tourism, and the Creative Economy. And what that has been about, and this is very important for all creatives, young or old, and for people in the digital ecosystem for innovation and startups, is that for the first time, when this comes out, it will come out as a FEC approval, which then means the Bankers Committee, you just know where Nigeria works, can now take this as law and put it into the process. And what this will do is that intellectual property, which is what IP is, will become available as a collateral for investment. Okay, because up until now, it has not been available as a collateral. And this is how IP, the biggest IP investment place in the world is called Silicon Valley. And maybe the second biggest is called Hollywood. And they both happen to be in the same state of California, which is why California is the fourth or fifth biggest economy in the world.
Wow.
The other thing that drives the Californian economy is agriculture. But the two biggest are Silicon Valley, which has done well over $100 trillion of value. And that is actually an incubator from Stanford University. So you see the triple helix, academia, innovation, and government. And that's sort of the models that we're also trying to apply in this environment. So that IP, exactly, well, it's a triple helix. You need academia because that's where research and development happens. And with research and development, you can get to innovation. Because innovation is just about rethinking what you're doing. It doesn't always mean technology. Innovation is just a new approach to an old problem, right? So what we are doing is that IP situation will enable people who are original creators of stuff to register that IP and be able to take it and get backed for ideas. So what we're saying is if you want to get funding for an idea, you should not have to go and get your grandmother or grandfather as the collateral or your house in the village. The idea itself, once it is chosen to have value, is enough. Of course, if you have proven IP, let's say you're Flora Wapa, children who are my friends, and you have a catalog of her entire works, that is very valuable IP. Shoyinka's catalog is extremely valuable IP. Chunachebe, Chimamanda, this is IP. So IP is books, songs, lyrics, intellectual property, pattern design, things like this, that you can now take and finance them because of a demonstrated value of what you have created.
This is interesting.
Yeah, it's a big step for Nigeria.
Yes, over the years, over decades, you have been very instrumental, to shaping and impacting in the Nigerian creative space. Do you think we have enough platforms for our creatives? Now you are the Council, for Arts and Culture as DG. What are you doing differently to create more of these platforms?
I think that's probably my fundamental approach is platforms, right? We have, when we first came in, I've been there just over a year. When we first came in, we all had to look at the minister's 8-point plan, which is basically policy driven, look at that and align it. Because, the way it works, the ministries and the ministers drive policy, the agencies drive implementation. Now, the Council for Arts and Culture is kind of the convening agency for the sector. So we have an overview over what is, in essence, 49 sectors. A lot of people do not know that it's that big. There are a lot of sectors that have never really been involved in government actually in this space. So whether it's fashion, whether it's architecture, whether it's software, whether it's animation or comics, whether it's esports and gaming, before you get to music and Nollywood and theatre and dance and performing arts and visual arts. And this is just a snapshot. So it's a massive space. What we've seen and what we're doing is that I think we're pretty much there with policy. And there's a lot of exciting policy announcements that will come out in the next 2-3 months because those of us who've been in this sector for a long time, the cultural policy was 2008, right? But it was never implemented. The creative economy policy is just being done now. But I can tell you the cultural policy is basically complete, done with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. And what that has done is created a situation where we'll be clear on policy at the national level, and we'll push it down to the subnationals as well, because we're communicating every day with the subnationals. And then, of course, in terms of platforms that you talked about, one of the key things I'd like to mention is we have CLAP that we mentioned earlier, which is at a masterclass level. We have ICE, Innovation, Creativity, and Entrepreneurship. This is networks. We're trying to build hub networks, right? And that network effects means that if I put one hub in my head office in Gudu, in Abuja, I can impact every school within 15 kilometers. Do you understand? And give them the opportunity to come and use digital labs, green room spaces, podcast spaces to create content, to learn about what they're doing, and give them a funnel. So we have a funnel we've created called Discover Niger, which is for all the creatives you're talking about. But again, we haven't gone live yet. So in the third, fourth quarter of this year, then everybody will begin to hear about these things, because you first have to incubate, build it, then you launch it. So I think Discover Niger is our talent funnel for discovery for creators across all the spaces. So from chefs to animators, from dancers to musicians, from fashion people to people who are doing comedy sketches and the rest of them, so that you can find them on any platform they're on. We want you to be able to find the Nigerians, right?
Before I let you go, we don't have a lot of time again. Let me digress a little bit, because I'm a poet, and I think we don't talk about spoken word artists enough. Do you think we do enough to make our spoken word artists thrive as a people? What can we do better?
I don't know about whether it's doing enough. I think one of the things, first of all, it's tough to be a spoken word artist in every country. It's not something that, it's never been the mainstream of the mainstream. But I mean, for example, we adopted a young boy called Mohammed Ibrahim, who's about 16, and I've been pushing him everywhere I can. Yesterday, he was at the Regional Africa Tourism Commission. I'll bring him on. He's incredible. And he's very powerful, and he's so authentic. He's in one of the federal government colleges here in Abuja. And I met him last year. His mother or somebody brought him to an event we were doing. And I said to him, listen, you're ours. And now he's performing in front of the president, the first lady, the vice presidents, so please come and book him, come and take him. Probably the number one spoken word artist if not in Africa, might be DK Chukwumerije, who's an incredibly talented spoken word artist. So there are people who do it, and their personality helps them to push beyond. So for me, that is something that we can all grow. Poetry, literature, spoken word. At the end of the day, in the entire creative industries, the written word, the story is the beginning of everything.
Yes.
And then from there, you do different lenses, whether it's music, whether it's this, whether it's that.
Thank you so much. It's been most insightful having you.
Can I have my one last word?
No. Okay, sure, absolutely.
Please, I just want to tell everybody, 2 days ago, we just had a groundbreaking ceremony for 4,500 capacity venue called MEFA at the Art Village in Abuja. We're going to be open first quarter 2026. We'll look forward to welcoming everybody there. We have a world-class venue for incredible performances across music, art, sports, fashion, theater, dance, and comedy. So please get ready. Abuja's coming alive.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks a lot.
It's been my pleasure. Well, what more can I say there? I've been speaking with the legendary Chief Obi Asika on the prospects for the Nigerian creative economy. Stay with us. There's a whole lot more on the show after the break.
Welcome you on today's ride on the show Good Morning Abuja.
This is Window on Abuja.
We have everything it takes to compete with any nation all across the world.
How do we make it? We are not ready to produce.
We've been contributing to the development of your kingdom.
Hello and welcome to Young Hearts. Our focus today will be on hepatitis B. Ladylike!
This is Entertainment Gist.
In the 14th century, 15th, 16th century, and even 17th.
That is for zakah to cure our greed.
The purpose why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decided to create humanity.
The Bible talks about a man called Apollos. This is NTA Abuja Channel 5.
See you same time.
And have a great and blessed week ahead.
I don't get a fever, share you stand like my soldier. When I shiver like I'm in the freezer, I don't get a fever, share you stand like my soldier. Cover me oh, when I'm catching cold. Ricky, my love, back when we can, now you tell me, say, make a rest on your shoulder. Cover me oh, when I'm catching cold. When I shiver like I'm in the freezer, I don't get a fever, share you stand like my soldier. Cover me oh, when I'm catching cold.
Welcome back from that musical break from Rings Alala. I hope you enjoyed it. And guess what? The show gets even more interesting because I have the man, the icon, the artist live on set with me. Let's welcome Rings Alala.
Yeah, good morning.
Drum roll.
Good morning to you all. How are you doing?
Good morning, and thanks for coming on my show.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So, tell me what inspires you. What inspired you in the first place to become a musical artist?
That name Alala is not just a stage name. It's not a nickname. It's my real name. I'm a dreamer.
Wow.
My name is Joseph, the dreamer.
Okay.
So Joseph in Yoruba is Alala.
Okay.
Sorry, the dreamer in Yoruba is Alala.
Alala.
You understand? So I dreamt about this for often and often, times and times again. You understand? So it's not like I just woke up one morning and start singing. Music has been my thing. I was once a choir. I saw myself singing on the stage. You understand? So it's not one day thing.
Taking a look at you, one can see you're oozing with creativity. How do you come up with new ideas?
People always challenge me. People challenge me at times without number. You have to come up with something different from others. At least if you want to describe, okay, Alala, if some other people might say, well, I don't know who is Alala. That guy that dressed with like this or that looks like this. So this thing is actually mine. This one is mine.
Designs.
On any of my dresses you see me on a video, on the show, you must see me with this. So anybody you see this with copies my style.
Wow.
So I'm the founder of this. And I designed my dresses myself.
Beautiful. That is just wonderful. How you know that ideas come up every now and then. So tell me about what genre of music do you make and your creative process when you write songs?
Once I'm composing my music, it comes with what is happening at that moment. Because I have gone through a lot and I have different experiences. In terms of love, generally I have different experiences. So I think my life story alone itself is enough for me to sing a lot and a lot of different kind of songs.
So your personal experiences influence
my personal experience. You don't tell me plenty about what I want to talk about. So I don't really need to start going outside to search for more inspiration again.
Growing up, who were some of the musical influences that you had?
Tubaba has been the person who Tubaba then, now, and even tomorrow. The day I met him was like, God, you understand? So the way I compose my music was not actually his style, but I use his own kind of inspirement or his kind of inspiration to compose. Because I will not just go into the studio and start singing nonsense. Once you listen to my song, you must pick one or two things that you would love to listen to again.
So you talk about conscious issues, societal issues.
If I'm talking about society, I talk fully about them. If I talk about love, I go straightly about it, you understand? So I don't drive from love to another thing, drive from another thing to love. I go straightly to message and passing completely in that particular music.
Beautiful. The music industry is vast and wide, new ideas every day, and of course we cannot downplay on our old legends.
We can't downplay on them.
Yeah, we can never. What makes you different, creatively different from the rest?
You see, what makes me creatively different from the rest, of our new generation of singers now is that I use the old patterns to redrive my music in a new pattern. You understand? Like I pick the old experience, the way they write their own music, the way they passes their message neatly, musically, to work with my own new pattern. You understand? It's not like go to the studio and sing what people will not pick any lessons from. You understand? So that is how I listen to them and work with their own kind of style in this our own new, I don't know how to put that English, for our own new age now. I use the old school pattern to work with the new age now. That's how I do. So, you understand? So by the time the new Gen Zs listen to my song, and my song can pass message to our youth of now, and it can as well pass message to even the header ones. They will say, this boy is trying, he's speaking sense. You understand? That's how my own songs go. So it makes me different from theirs.
As a fast rising artist and music maker, what are some of the challenges that you go through?
Plenty challenges. You know, also now to go to studio, feed yourself.
How expensive is it to make music?
Depend. They have studio of even 5,000 depending on your capacity. But if you need a good sound, you know, from 100, 200, 300, 500 upward.
To make a beat.
To make a good sound. You understand? So, and you know, you want the best for yourself. And you want the best for your consumers.
Yeah.
You understand? So I strive, I really strive enough to make sure I gather that financial what is it called? Strength to give them the best. So that if anybody listening, you will know you are buying the quality from me. You understand?
As a performer, I'm sure you do stage.
I do stage very
well.
When
you're in front of the crowd, how do you feel? How do you connect with your audience?
This has been one thing I've been always hungry for. I don't get hungry for this thing for long. So anytime I found myself on stage, I feel I'm on top of the world. You understand? So I put in my best.
Let's talk about collaborations, you know, in the music industry. You follow for the package. What do you think collabos can do, you know, for an artist?
It depends on where it depends on where the collabo is coming from. You understand? In fact, one of the best decision I've ever made in my life is staying away from friends, living a personal life.
Okay.
You understand? It depends on the people you are collaborating with. Some people you collaborate with them and find grace. Some people you collaborate with them and go backward.
Yeah, so you're right.
It depends on where the collaboration. It depends on where the collabo is coming from.
All right, and finally, before I let you go, what do you foresee for the Nigerian, you know, music industry in the next 5-10 years?
Sometimes I feel good. Sometimes I feel bad when I listen to some of the songs in Nigerian music. That's the truth. But I'm speaking for myself. If I can have like my kind of music, it will be different from what people are hearing now in the music industry. That's all I have to say.
All right, so Rings, what have you been up to? What are the things we should expect from you in the nearest future?
A banger is on the way coming.
Another banger.
Wicked banger. Titled Cover Me by Rings Alala. You understand? Yeah. I will be dropping that May 7th to 10th.
Okay.
I said May, sorry.
July?
Not July, August.
Oh, nice.
August 7 to 10.
I'll
be dropping the banger. Titled Cover Me. Even if you sleep, that song will wake you.
Abi?
Tell me.
I will look forward to it.
Don't joke with it. Cover Me is on its way coming. So everybody there, you can go and search for Cover Me.
Don't play, don't joke. Rings Alala is on the show. Before I let you go, you go flow for me now. You know, let's feel your vibe. Let's feel your vibes.
Oreke my love back where now you tell me, say make I rest on your shoulder. Cover me oh, when I'm catching cold. When I shiver like I'm in the freezer, I don't get a fever, share you stand like my soldier. Cover me oh, when I'm catching cold. Your love is interesting, I'll take you around the world, oh baby, no debates. Let me beautiful. Me, I know. If I told you, baby, come and love shit out. Baby, your love sweet, they play me on my piano. You took my breath away. Baby, take my love away.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, Roma, you will like glow. Everywhere we go, now you be my yellow.
All right, Green Zalala on Good Morning Abuja. Don't go away. We'll be right back and the show continues.
Eyes for Allah, nothing but Allah. Ba is the beginning of Bismillah. Ta is for taqwa, bewaring of Allah. And Tha is for thawab, a reward. Ja is for Jannah, the garden of
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to your weekly guide, Light of Islam. I am Aisha Ahmed.
As Muslims, we know that in Islam, time is a very good and important commodity that we have.
Believe in the angels of God as one of the 6 articles of faith.
Islamism may form rows, and how the rows are made is such that the Imam stands in front and then right behind him.
Assalamu alaikum, this is Light of Islam. Keep watching Light of Islam, NTA channel.
That is for zakah, to cure our greed, when we give our money to those in need.
It's so good to know you are still on the show. You know that the week and all the activities from work to off back home and all of that can be overwhelming. But this is a perfect time to relax and have a healthy dose of laughter with company.
Why everywhere they water? No, they want the light. I don't know. That one I talk when they talk. So this is doing like this. Put down. Una no. See that one. Wait till they want the carry. We did. Oh my now. Do this thing. I bet the sun is too much.
I don't know. As me and Ghana, they go for road. Then some men come down for this in van. Some carry AK-63, some carry AK-47, some carry. They come here. They come here. They carry home. They say we go pay money. How much pay money? This house is they say like going to 3 million. I don't know. Someone will kill me. Hey, they don't carry the whole shit. You see, this is my husband. This paper really they give me for. I God don't answer me. You. Now you talk. You do like wait first. You that apartment bar. Not only what that one you go sell. See, don't sell everything like that 3 building we get for that inside that town. So, sell them. Use the money to you and your son. Pew. Hey, sharp. If you see, if you hear waiting at the year like this, but I did for my room, they hear waiting all your wife, your tenant, and say they plan like this. If you hear waiting they talk about, I said you no go even plan this plan at all. Sir. I'm serious. I see like this now. Your land papers don't be another person's hand. Your other wife talk say make her ex-boyfriend come carry her, say she don't agree, make she follow her come out. Mama, you can send me cover. You go free yourself today. No. I don't know. I want to free yourself. So this small prank was my play on now. Just stay strong, man. No say whether una two love me. None of una love me at all. You see very not like that. It's not what you think. No, touch me. I saw one of our property to come and renew it. No, you wish you are no. You go say that you come. I do am my friend. That is nothing. Now we say sell am bring the money to you got now and cry. When you say here, I'm not saying you go better make some property. You know what I think. It's okay now. So you get mine. They would call your boyfriend. Maybe I did not call anybody. You said why say the baby me now say the baby another man. No, my love. Thank God they don't kidnap me through. It's okay now. It's okay. No, please, I'm sorry. Daddy, I'm sorry. I beg you. Forgive them. I love you. Man, forgive them. Forgive them. Say na prank will not be real. I say I put like this soil and I to go enjoy. You hold money since when they shall say bring money make them leave. I know that's my husband. No, that can't be the scatter. My husband. And my husband. I'm not married with you. I'm not going to money. Go get another baby husband. I understand you. I beg. Put the go back. Okay, wait.
None of them love me for this cover.
They love you.
When I go back,
I do not be nice. You wait first. You wait my husband so much.
Yes, yes, yes. And the weekend is a perfect time to catch a movie or two. Take a look at our movie trailers for the weekend.
He is my son. He didn't learn any of the things that we learned growing up.
In AJ, right?
Oh no. How long do I have? Colade, if you're watching this, it just means that I am dead. Before you can take over my estate, I want you to spend 7 days in Ajigmule.
Croker. Who be that?
Yeah, I need your help.
You just say if you afford my help.
Tell me, what are you really doing in Ajigmule?
Even if the boy lasts 1 day, he go still learn something.
Hi. Are you here by yourself?
I am. What about you?
I am.
It's funny how the most beautiful places make you feel the most alone, you know?
Maybe it just depends on the person you're with.
Remain on interstate for 249 miles. David?
Sorry, are we talking to each other now?
Do you want to go on a big, bold, beautiful journey?
Yes?
Do you remember?
David?
Happy together, don't you?
Pick up Sarah.
I do.
My car won't start.
Mine told me to pick you up.
Your accent, is it real?
You think I'd fake an accent?
The most beautiful places make you feel the most alone.
Oh, that's a pretty good me, actually. I'm flattered.
I don't wanna go.
In 1.5 miles, take the exit.
What is that? What do you think's behind there?
Dead bodies! Maybe we should go through it.
Everywhere I go leads me back to you.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so right now, Abuja is dangling in between the rainy season and a little bit of moist. Let's bring you the weather forecast for the day so that we are all very sure. It's a wrap on today's episode of Good Morning Abuja. I had a wonderful time, and here's wishing you a very, very fantastic and restful weekend. Don't forget that if you wait for too long, you are going to miss the sunrise, and that's the same way opportunities are like. If you wait for too long, you might just miss them. So make it a habit to always be right on time. Join us again on Monday, bright and early on the Unity Station for another exciting episode of Good Morning Abuja. My name is Nneka Igwe. Until I see you again very, very soon, be blessed. Bye for now.